Andra from the NR Hour Sports Show. This is episode 743. Joined by a special guest. He's a basketball player, Trey Dickerson. He used to play for Iowa and then Georgetown basketball in college. He played overseas, and now he's looking for an NBA opportunity still in his career. But for you, I just want to say thank you for joining the show. It's truly an honor, and obviously, I've seen video on you. You're a talented player. I don't know why people are sleeping on you, and they should be the team should be calling your agent right now, picking you up or something. But I just want to say thank you for joining the show. How are you and your family doing so far during this tough situation?
Nah, man, I definitely appreciate you for having me, inviting me on the show. I'm happy to be here. My family's doing good. Everybody's doing good. How's everybody at?
Yeah, we're doing good. Just trying to stay active with the workouts and obviously busy with the show. And luckily, I have a good team around me that helps out with the show too. And we would like to have you back actually as a returning guest at some point so you can meet the full team. So
No, definitely. I definitely appreciate that too. I'm definitely looking forward to that.
yeah. So I want to ask you though. I want to start off with your career in the beginning when you're growing up. So in your childhood, when did you start realizing that you wanted to play sports? And also, did you get to play any other sports before choosing basketball?
Yeah, so I would say about when I was a kid, I used to try to do everything. So I would play like basketball, baseball, football, like just anything like my friends wanted to do. We used to just, pretty much just try that. So like if it was the fall, we do football. We play football and stuff like that. So but basketball is like a year-round thing. So I really started wanting to play when I saw my older cousins playing or whatever. And a lot of people in the neighborhood, they play basketball all the time. And, at that age, I couldn't get on the court with the big guys. So, as I started being around it more, I say around fifth, sixth grade, I started taking it serious. Like, yeah, I really want to play basketball.
Wow. Yeah. So I actually, where you're located right now?
Right now, I'm in Philadelphia working out, and, we stay out here, yeah.
Hmm. So for you, while growing up, who did you have that particular person in your life that you looked up to in the sports industry? Whether it would be, for example, like an NBA player or NFL player, who was that one player that you had that you looked up to while growing up?
Growing up, I definitely uh, looked up to both my cousins. So my cousin Sean Wade, he played college basketball. He's from Queens. He's a point guard, and also my cousin Lamar Odom. I grew up watching Lamar, and then watching everybody in the family and stuff talk about him when he played in the NBA, when he was on the Clippers at the time. I saw him a lot playing there, and I was always like, oh, like it kind of, made me want to like, want to try that route.
Oh, your cousin's Lamar Odom?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah,
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, what a legend! A great basketball player, and what a great person to learn from too. When it
Yeah, and
comes,
I appreciate that.
yeah. So for you, in high school, what did you learn as a player in high school, and learning from your teammates and your coaching staff, and what was that one thing that you kept for yourself in high school? What was that one thing that you learned?
High school, I really learned to like kind of like always stay like I would say like never get too high, never get too low. Because in high school, you're gonna have good moments and then you're gonna have bad moments, especially when you come in as a freshman or sophomore. Like you're not really the hot commodity unless you're like a top five guy in the country or top 10 guy in the country. Like the spotlight really isn't about you yet. So when you go from playing AU where you probably got seven, eight guys and you already got your solidified spot. When you go to high school, it's guys that's freshmen, sophomores, juniors, seniors, and like age don't matter anymore. Like if you playing varsity, you playing against dudes older than you. So I would say just kind of staying level headed, like never get too high, never get too low, because it's gonna always be competitive. Even when you become the upperclassman, you got to worry about guys younger than you coming in trying to take your spot. So I would say that.
Hmm. So before we get to your college career, what would you say that your most memorable game that you played in high school would be?
Oh, definitely. When I moved to California, I actually went my freshman year. I went to high school in New York, and then my sophomore year, Lamar and King Smith and one of King Smith close friends, Shagun, they wanted me to go to California. They felt like it was like more of a focus. It was like going to be more focused and I could work out more. So I actually went out there. And my senior year, we played in the state championship. So I would definitely say the state championship game.
Hmm. Kenny Smith is another guy to learn. Good to learn from that.
Yeah, yeah. Kimmy's a great guy.
Yeah. So for you coming out of high school, how many offers did you have? And obviously, you played for two colleges in Iowa and Georgetown. But what other offers did you have before going that route?
To be honest with you, man, like my route was a little different.
Yeah.
My senior year, I had a bunch of interests, but the only offers I had was like Seattle University. Like I had USC interested, Maryland, and Oklahoma State, but they never offered me. So at that point, that's when things started getting a little tricky because I didn't know really what to do. I like Seattle, but
Yeah.
I didn't really know much about it. So I kind of wasn't really focused on going there.
So what was it like playing for two colleges? And let me start with Iowa first. What was that experience like playing for that type of college? And obviously they were in the tournament this year. So what was it like just playing for that team in front of those fans and the atmosphere?
Oh no, that was definitely exciting because when I tell people about schools in the Big Ten and like Iowa, it's like there's no proteins there. So you are like kind of like the protein. Like everybody is an Iowa fan or they're an Iowa State fan. So just being there, it's like it's kind of like you feel entitled to everything. Like everywhere you go, people gonna know who you are. Like you could be 2 hours away from the campus in the middle of nowhere, and people gonna know who you are. But the experience, everything was great. I played with a bunch of great vets like Aaron White, who got drafted, and then he plays in the Euro League.
Yeah.
Jared Uthoff, who plays in the G League, and I think he was with the Wizards last year in the bubble. Just a bunch of great players that came through that program. So I kind of got to learn a lot. When I first got there, I was a young guy just trying to figure it out. And, I definitely benefited off going there and the experience.
So I'm just curious for you. Obviously, in this generation, the coaches love to play players in multiple positions. Like for you guys, for example, point guards, they want them to play shooting guard too. So for you, can you play shooting guard too outside of point guard? Can you play multiple?
Yeah, 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 I actually can. Like, it's funny because AU, I really played off the ball. When I started trying to get recruited, I started playing point guard more. So like it was kind of like that thing. But yeah, I definitely started off playing like a two, like the two guard. I'm better. I was better off at the two guard. Then I had to learn how to play point guard as I got older if I could because I wanted to play on the Division 1 level.
Yeah, because I'm gonna be dead serious about this. Your game reminds me of Kyrie a little bit.
Yeah, no, I appreciate
I'm serious. No,
that.
I'm being dead
I was
serious.
like,
I'm not gassing here. I'm
yeah.
just, your game is seriously reminds me of Kyrie because he can play off the ball too. Obviously I've seen tape on you and you do definitely remind me of Kyrie.
No, I definitely appreciate that. That's a crazy comparison. I definitely appreciate
Yeah.
that.
But I want to ask you though. So what do you think of a guy like Luca Garza, man, the center from Iowa, and obviously he performed well in the tournament. And have you ever connected with him when you were after your career at Iowa, when he went there?
So Luca Garza came in after me, but I think I heard a lot of great things about him. We actually played them. We actually like used to go up there and visit, so we used to like play pickup and stuff. Like I met him like I think once or twice, but he was a great guy off the court. He works real hard. Uh, you know, and I think that everything that he's done in college shows that he works on his game in the off season and in the season. I think he's a great player. He's gonna have a great chance at the next level.
So now switching gear, actually, yeah, now switching gears to Georgetown. That's another great college that's up and coming. They were in the tournament too. Patrick Ewing coaching that team, and I had his son on the show last year. So did you get to play with his son at Georgetown while you were there?
No, I actually didn't. He was more like a like kind of like he was more like a mentor for me. Like so when I went there, it was Coach Pat's first year coaching. So I was his second recruit to commit
Oh, well.
ever as him as a college coach. And little Pat Jr., he was like he just had finished playing and he would play against us in practice, like on a scout team, but I saw how talented he was. Like when he had his time, like he's still athletic, he could jump and stuff. But yeah, little Pat definitely had game, and I learned a lot from him being there. He gave me a lot of knowledge and a lot of tips on what to do moving forward and how to get certain opportunities and stuff like that.
So this is a two-part question. Obviously, for you, was it tough leaving Iowa and leaving that program? Obviously, And then also, what was it like just getting recruited by a legend like Patrick Ewing and you knowing that they really wanted you there?
Well, no, it was definitely tough leaving Iowa because that was a school I wanted to go and make history at. I felt like it was a perfect fit for me to go there, and at that time they were always like the middle or the bottom of the Big Ten, and I kind of wanted them to get them to find that edge. I wanted to be a part of that tradition. So for me to make that decision to leave was very tough because I created a lot of relationships there, and always to move forward is always tough when you build a relationship with guys who you thought would make history with. So that was definitely tough. But when I spoke to Coach Pat about being recruited, like that was like unbelievable. Like when he called me and when I was talking to him, like I pretty much was like, man, this ain't Patrick. Like who's playing around with me?
Yeah.
Like he was laughing at me because I was like serious. I was like, man, this ain't Patrick Ewing. Like there's no way I'm gonna phone Patrick Ewing. And then I went there on my visit like 2 days after we spoke, and I met him in person, and like we kind of pretty much just bonded well. And he told me everything that he expected of me, and he coached. But he was our assistant coach for the Charlotte Hornets before he got the Georgetown job. So he's telling me how he worked with Kemba Walker a lot.
Yeah.
So it kind of like I'm me being from New York, Kemba being from New York. He kind of like we had kind of had a little good connection.
Yeah, that's another good comparison, Kemba Walker too.
Yeah.
So for you, obviously you took a different route playing overseas first, but did you go through the NBA like combine before and like the NBA process before going to the draft? Did you go through that before going overseas?
Yeah, so like pretty much I did like the interview stuff and stuff like that. But me personally, the beginning of my senior year at Georgetown, I was like injured. So I didn't really start off with everything. Like I didn't start off on a good note. I would say my season, my last year. So I kind of wasn't really, I thought like going overseas was the best decision for me at the time because I was like, you know what? I didn't have the greatest year. We didn't win as many games as we wanted to. So I felt like me personally, go overseas, play a full healthy year and then come back and then get in these, free agent workouts or whatever. They have like group workouts and then go from there. So I actually did end up doing that. I went to Cyprus, which was right by Greece. I went there my first year, played there or whatever, came back, and then I worked out with the Knicks.
Okay.
So I worked out with the Knicks. It was right after it was right before their training camp, but they already had like their 20 guys that they had signed to training camp. So I pretty much missed the deadline with that because I was in Croatia first. And I came back from Croatia early because I wanted to go work out for the Knicks. And then, I was pretty much open. Like I'm open right now. Like the Knicks had like a lot of G League spots, but they had like their guards selected. So I worked out with the Knicks, and then me doing well there opened up a workout with the Wizards. So it's kind of just like a process. Every year you work with your agent on trying to find the right fit where you could go. Try to get an opportunity, whether it's summer league, G League, just somewhere to start and work your way in. Like that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Man, that's crazy. And obviously, explain to me your overseas career because I had a lot of players that played overseas. For example, I know you know I had Gianni Ford on the show. I had
Yeah,
I had Truck Bryan on the show.
yeah. Truck Ryan's my
Yeah.
guy.
So it's for you. Explain your overseas experience. I'm sure you got advice from them too, also. But um, was it a hard transition from leaving the states to going to Greece, and how tough is it for you at first in the beginning? And but just take me through the process of it.
Yeah, like at first, I was excited. Like leaving college, I was like, all right, like I'm about to be a professional. So I was real hyped. I was, I was open to it. And guys like Truck, Truck is a New York City legend.
Yeah.
Like what he did at West Virginia, even from high school to now. So, guys like that, we kind of just look at their journeys, and they kind of paved the way for guys like me. So with me going overseas, I definitely was excited at first, and then I started realizing like, there's a lot of stuff that's different. Like you go over there, you don't, not everyone speaks English, so you have to, like, I use my Google Translate on my phone a lot. The time difference, like when I wake up, a lot of people are still asleep. When I'm going to sleep, a lot of people are just now starting to get their day going. Your games are, like if your game is at 7, people that it's most likely 11 to 10 o'clock back home. So and like in the morning. So a lot of people, got to wake up early to watch you play. It's definitely a huge adjustment, but it's part of like I feel like it's part of the process. Like you gotta embrace it to get where you want to go ultimately. So if that's gonna help you get where you're trying to go, then you just gotta go through it.
Speaking of language barriers, did you reach out to Giannis for help since he's since he's from Greece?
Nah, I, I definitely would have if I had the contact, but like in Cyprus, it's kind of a little weird because it's so close to Greece and it's so close to Turkey.
Oh,
So they have a Turkish side and then they have a Greek side. So they have both sides. But I was on the Greek side, so I definitely could have used help from Giannis.
yeah. So for you, obviously, would you say it was a different style of playing overseas than college and high school? And obviously, how intense were the fans in Greece?
Oh no, they're real intense. Like in Cyprus, they get real active. They kind of I don't know. I kind of say they're more out of control than like in the states. Like in the states, people shout and stuff. But like they like over there, they kind of go wild. But it's definitely different. Like the fans and stuff.
Hmm. So obviously, all of us went through a rough year last year. Now we're still going through a rough year with the pandemic. So for yourself, what have you learned as a player with the sport shutting down and everything was unknown where the players were going to train? But for you, obviously, you continued training, working hard. And what have you learned as a player from the past year?
Man, I honestly just learned that appreciate and take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way because I know coming back from overseas last year, I was talking to my agent. We had a bunch of like all season workouts lined up, and then COVID hit. So not having those workouts available because of COVID, it kind of pushed everything a whole year back. So I had the mindset, I was real happy and confident coming back from overseas. I was like, you know what, this is gonna be the year I think I'm gonna be able to get into something or get into summer league or G League and then make some noise. So I would just say appreciate playing, period, because a lot of guys didn't play this year. A lot of guys, a lot of seasons got canceled because of COVID. So I would say, appreciate it and take advantage when you have the opportunity.
Hmm. So what have you been working on as a player to get better? And also, are you guys currently? How close are you guys like landing a contract in the NBA?
So right now I just been working on my I just been working on my overall game, just staying in shape, running, lifting, working on my skill work and stuff like that. And pretty much I'm just, taking it daily. I'm right now I'm looking forward, I'm looking towards going overseas for the rest of this year, for the rest of the season to like around June, July-ish, and then coming back and then seeing if they're gonna have a summer leagues and seeing if they're gonna have workouts, kind of pretty much that's pretty much my case right now. Seeing how everything opens up, if they're gonna allow certain things. Because last year they didn't have a summer league or season workouts, which are, some of the people who were in the draft, it kind of affected those guys too. So some guys, that was looking to improve their stock, didn't get to work out for teams. So, I'm just pretty much taking it at that, taking it like that way.
So like for example, your agent has he been close? For example, has he been in contact with the local teams like the Sixers, Nets, Knicks, like that, or?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's pretty much been talking to those teams, even like a few teams on the West Coast, even like basically teams that really need point guards, like even like a lot of situations like like Detroit, like those type of teams, like you want to go to like the Cavs, teams like that. Like you're trying to see what type of situation those teams are gonna have in the off season. Obviously, depending on the draft, you want to see how summer leagues, how if they have a summer league, how the roster is gonna look, and then also like playing for Patrick Ewing is also a plus because that's a guy you could call and get a lot of like advice from and also get help from honestly.
Yeah. So for
Yeah.
you, so obviously, whoever doesn't know about you as a player, what do you bring to the game as a point guard? And like I said, people are sleeping on you, and the team should be
Yeah.
calling. But what do you bring to the game?
Oh, I definitely bring toughness. I'm definitely gonna play hard. I'm gonna run the team. I'm gonna do what the coach asked me to do. So pretty much, I'm gonna try to get everybody involved, keep everybody happy. I can score if a coach need me to, but pretty much control the team, run the team. Get at it on the defensive end. Being a smaller guard, that's big for us nowadays. Being able to be a pest on defense. So I would say those things right there.
Hmm. So, what advice would you give to young kids and young athletes that are trying to get to their goals and obviously, and trying to achieve their dreams? So, what advice would you give to young kids and young athletes too?
Man, I would tell a young kid to keep working, stay positive, and stay the course. Really trust the process. That means even when things aren't going the way you wanted to, continuing to work hard and believe, because you gotta, in order to trust the process, even when things don't look like it's going your way, that's part of trusting the process of, are you still putting in the same effort as when things going well? Like, you have to stay with the same commitment. You have to work hard always and believe in that plan, and it'll work out for you. It's not gonna always work out when you want it to, but it will eventually. I would tell a young kid.
Hmm. So for you, what's it like sharing your story and your life story on like this platform, for example, and other shows that you've been on? And what's it like seeing sharing your story and seeing people use their utilizing these Zooms and Instagram lives and starting shows? Like I know you're connected with Global Kid Media, so what's it like seeing him uh, and doing a great job and sharing your story on each platform like this?
It's definitely beneficial, for guys like you, Global Kid Media. It's definitely beneficial to athletes, honestly, because sometimes, like majority of the time, at late at night before I go to sleep, I'm looking at other guys' journeys, and it kind of uplifts me. Like, this person went through this, and they kept going, and this is where they ended up now. So for you guys to, go to different people and have athletes, and even people who aren't athletes, share their story, because there's a struggle and there's a beauty in everybody's story. So to have you guys do what you're doing is definitely appreciated, because you're sharing other people's experiences, and guys like me, I'm using that as fuel to keep pushing too, because like not always what we go through as an athlete or even as a non-athlete is easy. Sometimes it's hard to overcome it.
Yeah.
So when you see other people go through it, it just keep you pushing. Like, man, I got to keep going, because I'm gonna overcome and get what I want.
So we usually do this fun little segment on the show. It's called the rapid fire segment. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Kawhi Leonard's laugh or Kevin Hart's laugh?
Kawhi Leonard's laugh.
uh, favorite food?
Shrimp.
Thoughts on this year's March Madness?
Baylor Wax Gonzaga.
Were you surprised that Gonzaga didn't come out to play as usual?
Yeah, I know I wasn't surprised. I pretty much felt like, after the UCLA game, they celebrated too much. And I think Baylor was more locked in the whole tournament. Like, you could just tell by the look of their eyes and the effort they played with.
So what are favorite memorable game that you played at Georgetown and Iowa?
Georgetown, definitely the Butler game where we beat Butler on the road. They were nationally ranked. And I think I missed one shot the whole game.
Wow.
And then Iowa, I would say we beat North Carolina on the road.
So I know I compared you to Kyrie. Have you like interacted with him before, Kyrie?
No, I never interacted with him. I actually played against him when I was like in high school. Like, I was a freshman. He was a senior. No, he was a junior going into his senior year, and we played against him at the Gauchos gym in the Bronx. And he played the New Jersey Roadrunners. And this was when everybody first started hearing about him like crazy. And then we played against him, and I think like I played. I had like 14 points, but he had like 30 something. Like, I remember that game. I always remember that game. People be like, have you ever played against Kyrie? I'm like, yeah, I actually did play against him before. I played up, and he destroyed us, but he does it to everybody. So I don't feel no type of way.
So what's it gonna be like when the first time you get signed to an NBA team, and what's it gonna be like when you put that jersey on and experiencing your first game and going on the court, and what's that feeling gonna be like?
Man, I'm gonna feel relieved, because I know my journey and what I went through to get to that point.
Yeah.
But then once you get there, it's all about staying there and achieving more. So once I get there, can have a quick little, celebration about getting there, and then back to it's always back to work for me. You gotta stay there and accomplish more.
So how many ankles have you broken in your career so far?
I say definitely over 10. I would say you're probably around the teens, like 13, 14. Yeah, I definitely broke a few ankles. I definitely broke a few.
Yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the Brooklyn Nets this year so far? Obviously, they're loaded, talented, and but they're not fully healthy yet. But once they're fully healthy, do you think they're going to be? Do you think that they're going to sweep through the playoffs?
Yeah, I think the Nets are gonna win the chip this year. I think at best, I mean, I think they're gonna win the championship series 4-1.
Oh,
Like
wow.
I think they're going. Yeah, I don't know if they're gonna sweep the Lakers or whoever make it to the finals, but they're definitely gonna 4-1 somebody. Yeah,
Do you have a nickname?
yeah. Everyone pretty much called me TD, like my initials. TD. I know Iowa they used to call me like Swaggy, but those two for sure.
Favorite thing to do outside of sports?
Favorite thing to do outside of sports. I like to go to like I like to go to the beach. Honestly, I like to go chill at the beach. Yeah, just like go chill at the beach.
Hmm. Um, so, all right. So, what have I? Do you get any like advice from like obviously your cousin's Lamar, but outside of him, do you get any other advice from different NBA players throughout your career?
Yeah, I get a bunch of advice from a bunch of people who like know who a bunch of guys like I get advice from Kenny Smith a lot. Obviously Lamar, Isaiah Cannon,
Hmm.
real close to Isaiah Cannon, Cameron Payne, uh, who else? Pretty much I would say Monte Morris, like guys like
Okay.
that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so like those are all guys like I have a relationship with, cool with, and they kind of tell me their story and what made them get to where they at. Like Monte had to play in the G League his whole
Yeah.
rookie year, and then he played well in summer league and got a 3-year deal. So good stuff like that. Just talking about stuff like that.
Favorite food?
Favorite food, shrimp for
Oh
sure.
yeah, yeah. I already said
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Favorite music, actually. Favorite hip hop artist.
Favorite hip hop artist, I would definitely Jay-Z.
Oh, there you go. And what's your guys' pregame music before a game?
Man, my pregame music, I say, she's just a hard one. I listen to a couple people. I say Meek Mill intro to championships.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
do you have any like Kobe memories throughout your career?
Oh yeah, I definitely have a cool memory. I remember when I was at prep school in LA when I first moved out there. Uh, and I used to go to the games to like see Lamar play. Like Kobe used to be there and stuff, and Lamar used to tell me a bunch of stories about how like this is like before everyone really know that he woke up around 3 in the morning to work out. Like I didn't really believe that stuff, and then like one time like Lamar was like, nah, he really does that, like and stuff like that, and he just was like a great guy. They were real close, so I would definitely say that.
Hmm. So the last three things here before I let you go. So our team, for our show, we partnered up with two companies. If your friends are interested or whoever, your loved ones, your mom, girlfriend, whoever, but we partnered up with my aunt's company called Eplin X Cosmetics. The promo code is NR20. So you can check that out or send it to your family, friends, so they can get the stuff they want. And also, we also partnered with Bucking Beards. Is like a male for men's hairstyle thing product. So
Okay.
we're trying to help them out so we can get more traffic for the show. The promo it's the same promo code on our NR20, so I'll send to both of them. Whoever's interested in buying some stuff. So
Okay. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. But yeah,
yeah,
definitely send me that over after this. Definitely.
yeah. So the last two things here, and we're also part of the Hugh Jackson Foundation. Obviously, he's a former NFL coach. He's trying to get back into coaching, but focus on this foundation, and we're like ambassador for them. We're trying to help prevent human trafficking, making sure the kids stay safe, and making sure the communities stay safe also. And we're really grateful to be part of that foundation. And I'll send you that too, so you can check it out. So I just want to bring that up. And the last thing here, would you like to say anything to all the nurses, doctors, and essential workers right now?
I would say we definitely appreciate y'all. You know, I know this past year has been like real tough, and you guys are like the real heroes. And you know, I just want to wish you guys blessings and prayers to stay safe and continue. And we're almost over this COVID stuff, and we appreciate y'all.
Yeah. Well said. And there it is. That wraps up episode 743 with basketball player Trey Dickerson. Everyone, please go follow him on all social media formats. This guy is talented. People are sleeping on him. Hopefully, you get a chance soon in the NBA. Keep working hard. Keep up the great work, and I hope you get to live your dream and you and your family stay safe.
All right, thank you, my God. Definitely appreciate it. You too. You and you guys stay safe. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And also, we would like to have you back, like I said earlier, so you can meet the full team at some point.
All right, thank you. I'm definitely looking forward to that, and I appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. All right.